Marshall Peter, I'm super pumped up to be speaking with you today. Mate, how you doing?
Good, thanks, Adrian. How you doing?
Mate, I'm jazzed up, as you can tell. I'm energized and I'm really itching to get into the finer details with you today. Mate,
Awesome.
before we get started, I just want to say I'm super grateful to be working with you and to have experienced for myself the power of the work that you do.
Mate,
Mate, tell us a
appreciate it.
little bit about you and what do you do?
Mate, I've been in personal development since pretty much I was 9 years old. My father was in personal development, helping people. So I started my first seminar as a 9-year-old, started conducting seminars when I was 15. And human behavior and people's emotions and what makes them work, what helps them achieve what they want in life has always been a passion of mine. So, having all these years of working with it, it's about 30 something years now. I love what I do and I love helping people. And right now, the world is going through a massive change. There's a lot of pain and sorrow in the world with these lockdowns and what COVID's doing to people.
Yeah.
So, it's time for us to make a change.
Yeah. Mate, no doubt the last year has been very challenging for every one of us. Can you give us some examples of where people have struggled in their work, career, relationships, and where it is similar to being in lockdown and how people might be able to overcome this?
Yeah, Adrian, it's lockdowns. It's a funny thing. You call it lockdown, but you're basically shutting down people physically. You're
Yeah.
keeping them in their homes or with short bursts of trips to be able to do things. And I was speaking to a good friend of mine in Melbourne not too long ago, and it really hit me how bad it is down there and how bad people are suffering with not being able to be themselves, not being able to socialize, not being able to talk to people, and yeah, there is phones and FaceTime and all of that, but people are feeling really isolated and shut down. And I think they should change the word lockdown to just staying in, because they're feeling like they're actually locked down. It actually reminds me of a life story that I heard a long time ago of a guy who joined an American PGA golf championship and did really well with one arm. And it was amazing, true story. And when he was interviewed, saying, "Look, how do you learn to play golf in one arm?" He says, "I'm a Vietnam veteran, and when he was locked up as a prisoner of war, um, due to an injury, he only had one arm. And what happened was every day, he said, they locked me in the cages. I couldn't do anything physically. I was locked in, but mentally, I used to play golf every day." So mentally, he used to play a round of golf and do practices every day. So when he came out of the prison and came back to America, he became a golf champion instantly. So, it's when you're locked in and you feel isolated and locked down, that is just a physical thing. We compound that by feeling locked down mentally. And the biggest message, I guess, I want people to realize is that you're not locked down mentally. You're only locked down physically. You can't physically leave your house, but mentally there is no limit with time and space. I'll give you a prime example. If I say, okay, let's just imagine you, Adrian, what's your best, the most comfortable place you like to go to, whether it's for relaxation, for fun. You might say it's the beach. You might say it's the park or whatever. Instantly you feel better because you're imagining yourself there and you go, wow, this is what I used to do. This is what I used to feel like. This is what, the emotions I enjoy. There is no time and space with your mind. There's only time and space with your body. So even though you're physically locked into your house, you can spend time with your kids on a park just by closing your eyes and thinking about it.
Mate, what effects does feeling trapped have on a person in the short term and the long term?
Well, the mental effects and physical effects are two totally different things. I mean, the physical effects, obviously, your health and well-being. People tend to eat more, drink more, and that affects their physical being. The mental effects are long-term because what you feel like is your inability to change the environment that you're in. So you feel that you've lost total control of who you are because the government, COVID, and all of this controlling you. And over a long period of time, that can actually create depression, anxiety, and a lot of mental illnesses that you become habitual in doing. Anxiety and all that is something that you do, and you create those chemicals in your head, and it keeps expanding and multiplying and multiplying, and eventually you get diagnosed with being anxious, or you have depression. So when you are in a lockdown situation, your language to yourself is so important, because what happens is how we talk to ourselves is how we drive ourselves and how we feel. So if you don't change your language, you become physically and mentally locked down. And the long-term effects of that is you could lose your business, you could lose your relationships, you could lose yourself.
Marshall, I just want to throw a spanner in our interview today. I'd love for you to share an example of our conversations that we've had over the last month, from where I was and where I am now, in your own words.
Well, without giving too much detail, where you were, Adrian, the first session that we did, which was just a very small one, but where you were mentally, you were in a space where no matter how hard you worked, no matter what you did, no matter how many clients you got, mentally you were spaced that your money meant something to you that you couldn't hold on to. And what I mean by that is, you see a lot of people working so hard in life, they can earn 100, 200, 300, 500,000, but at the end of the year, they got more month at the end of the money, because their mind just doesn't let them hold on to it. So a little bit of tweaking and a little bit of stuff that we did with you in letting go of some of your past and in starting to change how you feel about money. What changed that is you are now, and since our last conversation was awesome to see that your mind shift towards money has changed. And as per your words, you're attracting different types of customers, and your whole mental attitude towards wealth and well-being and growing financially has just changed. And that magnetizes your mind to attract more wealth into your life.
Yeah.
Which is awesome, dude. Really well done.
Yeah. No, I just thought we'd share that, man, because, it doesn't matter where you're at in life right now, whether, you're a mum, dad, your family person, or you're single, or whatever it is, we all go through the same things in life. Yeah. So, you know what I mean? So I just wanted to share that. So how can we overcome these effects if we can't get outside our family home? What can we do that you would suggest by utilizing what we already have? Great
question, mate. Great question. It's the step to anything. And, it's a funny thing to relate it to this, but it makes sense. Alcoholics Anonymous, their first step is accepting that you're an alcoholic.
Yeah.
That itself empowers you. And same thing with what we're going through, lockdown and COVID. Step number one is just going, you know what? I am in a screwed up situation. The world is in a screwed up situation. Fine, I accept it. I take it on. I'm not going to fight it. I'm not going to say questions or ask questions like, why is this happening to us? Or why can't the government do this? It's like the environment. We got no control over it. If it's going to rain, it's going to rain. That's just life.
Yeah, true.
Right now, COVID is just life. It's just who we are and what we're experiencing. So the reality of it is acceptance first, is how do you accept? And the easiest way to accept it, believe it or not, is just to look at yourself in the mirror and say, I accept my current situation. I don't have to like it, but I accept it. Once you get acceptance, you can then move on to the next stage. And the next stage in that is, how do you have some gratitude for what's going on right now?
Yeah.
I'll give you a personal example. A guy that works with me, lovely man, and he went for his COVID jab. Right, yesterday I was talking to him and texting him, and he's in hospital because I believe the AstraZeneca, 1 in 74,000 gets inflammation of the heart, and this guy got it. So he's in hospital with inflammation of the heart, So in a situation like that, you go, and he's young, in a situation like that, you go, how do I be grateful for that? You can be very grateful that it wasn't a blood clot and he's not dead.
Yeah.
You could be grateful that it didn't happen to one of your loved ones, that you took on the brunt. Hey, I'm okay. I'm strong enough to handle a little bit of inflammation in the heart. Or even not having anything like that happen. Be grateful for the fact that you are doing so much better than other parts of the world where they don't even have the ability to lock a city down.
Yeah.
So it's about learning to be grateful for you, grateful for the time that you have with your family. You're locked in with your family. How cool is that?
Yeah.
You know, my kids are doing homeschooling, and it's really cool because I get to be involved with their homeschooling, or I can have the language. Bloody hell, do I have to do this shit again?
Yeah.
It's up to us. Be grateful for the time you have with them, the time you have with your puppies, your dogs, your cats. Learn to be grateful. And as soon as you have gratefulness in your life, you cannot have misery. You cannot go downward spiraling.
Yeah.
It is so important.
That's I'd love to just share something that's sort of helped me move forward and not get stuck in the past is gratitude, like being grateful for what you have, learn your lessons, be thankful, be grateful for those lessons because they're going to make you stronger and help you to move forward and learn from it.
Absolutely. Yeah. One of my mentors, this is a lesson I learned from him, Tony. He always talks about acting with an attitude of gratitude.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's such an important part of our life. And sometimes we forget because it becomes the norms that we forget to be grateful for what we have in life.
That leads us to the next question. Oh, were you going to say something?
Yeah, I was going to say that the next level of once you're grateful for something, then you can choose. We've got all this time in lockdown right now.
Yeah.
Choose to focus on something that you've been putting off for, the last, I don't know how many years, whether it being a parent, a mom, a dad, whether it's to learn a new skill online, whether it's to play footy with your kid on the street because you're an entrepreneur and you don't have time to do that. Yeah. Now's the time to do that. Play basketball. I love playing basketball with my kid, just in the driveway. Now's the time you don't have excuses. So you can focus on the areas that you really want to improve, that you've been wanting to, but you've given yourself the excuse, I don't have time. Be it fitness, be it health, be it family time, be it restructuring a business. If you're an entrepreneur, restructure your business. Now's the time to think clearly and go, hey, look at the clouds and say, okay, how do I restructure this business to evolve it to today's times?
Mate, this kind of leads into the next question, which is, other than the basic human needs of what fulfills a person or what energizes a person, how can they start to become their best self?
I think it's very important that you spend time with yourself and get to know yourself first.
Yeah.
I'll give you a prime example of that. If a plane leaves Brisbane heading for Sydney, over 94% of the time, the plane's actually not focused on Sydney because the wind changes the direction and all of that. So unless you know exactly where you're going, you can make those little changes along the way, you're not going to get to Sydney.
Yeah.
So knowing where you want to be is a major part. I call it a definite chief aim. A reason I call it a definite chief aim is because goals have been slapped around so much that most people that I deal with and I help, as soon as you talk about a goal, they go, oh God, I have to put work towards it. I have to, that's hard work. I failed at the last 10 goals that I set. And I tell people goals don't work, people do. Set yourself a definite chief aim. And the definite chief aim should include who you are or who you want to be. But without identifying where you are now, it's pretty hard to do that. So identify acceptance, identify where you are now, but then establish a definite chief aim. Where do I see myself in the next maybe 3, 5, 10 years? If you can't say 3, 5, 10 years, go 1 year, and then step by step, you can identify who do I need to know? Who do I need to learn from? What do I need to learn? How do I get myself to that position? You can reverse engineer the whole process.
Yeah. Mate, I love that. Goals don't work, people do.
Yeah.
Boom. Love that. Marshall, when you're speaking with someone who is stuck in the past or stuck in a negative mindset, how do you move them to accept where they're currently at? Like, as an example, how I spoke about before, being grateful, being thankful, and moving forward. How do you get them to move forward?
It's not just about talking about it. I have this thing about psychologists. You go there and talk about your problems and you get comfortable talking about your problems. You don't really get away from you. Yeah. You're not really solving it. So I relate to your past and past experiences as anchors, like a boat anchor. And what that means is there's a lot of things that we've experienced in our past. They either propel us forward or they hold us back. Now, if they're propelling us forward, great, we're achieving what we want to achieve. But if they're holding us back, we got to learn to let that go. That is not an easy experience of just saying, let go. I'm just going to let go. I'm just going to talk about it, have a chat, I'll let it go. It doesn't work that way. There's psychological links, there's neurological pathways in your brain that link your past to your performance. So there's a process in neurosynchronology, which is a science that I've developed that helps people cut that out. So you cut the anchors that are actually holding you back. You can take the learnings with it, but you can cut the anchors that are holding you back. Suddenly your boat of life is free and you're free to propel yourself forward. You're free to go wherever you want. But until you can let go of that past, and it has to be a mental letting go, not just a conscious, but a subconscious letting go. And there's a process to do that. I've done that with you briefly about money. So when you do that process, then you let go, then you can move forward.
Love that. One thing that actually pops into mind, Marshall, is our first session that we had. Afterwards, I was actually sick for a couple of days. And not actually I wasn't vomiting or anything like that, but my stomach felt really horrible for a couple of days. What was going on there between my mind and my gut?
Now, there's studies done in universities in America. Harvard's done a lot of this work about your body being part of your memory cell. Okay. So when you have anchors in your life from your past that are holding you back, quite often that sets itself in different parts of your body. There's a story of a guy who got amputated, but he could still feel a tingling of his fingers. He could still feel the feeling from his hands all the way up. So when your body is storing these memories, for different people, it's stored in different places. Now, one part is when you feel a sudden emotion, you go, oh, I feel in my chest, or I feel in my arm, I feel in my back. That's one of the symptoms or the signs of it. The other part of it, and the more important part of it, is what you did was you did a physical detox. You did a conscious detox of something that was holding you back in your mind.
Yeah.
Your subconscious was holding it back. And when we released that, there was a physical release, and you're more of a physical person. So for you, it was more pronounced, and you had that physical release, and your body was just detoxing it out. If you got a really busy entrepreneur and they go on a holiday, the first few days they get sick because their body's detoxing.
Yeah.
So that's a very similar symptom.
And also, if you're married, generally on holidays, stress levels are lower, people are happier, and they're more likely to have another child.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool when you can really drop down and enjoy your time. Now, my point to you again about COVID, and just digress a little bit.
Yeah.
Make your home a holiday. During COVID, escape within your home. You can, it's amazing. We got to go back to our childhood a little bit to do this, but my kids and my partner's kids, they tend to sometimes build little cubby houses in the room, and you go to the room and you go, holy dooly, there's blankets hanging from everywhere. Yeah. They're having a holiday. They don't feel locked in a bedroom. They're actually having a holiday. They're actually having a camping experience. And we can do that as adults too. We can do that. And this is what I mean by you're physically locked, not mentally. Mentally, you can do so much right now.
Mate, do you believe lockdown has provided us with anything to be grateful for? And what are some examples of where we can be grateful?
I think there's so much to be grateful for lockdown. You can reverse what people are feeling right now down south. And, you can say, hey, what are things I can be grateful for? I now have time. Most people complain, I never have time. I now have more time to do things. I have time to spend with my family, my friends. Technologically, the world has just advanced about 30% in the last year and a half. People and grandmas and granddads who never knew what FaceTime or Zoom or meetings like that is, man, all technology advanced now.
Yeah.
you know. So that's another thing to be grateful for. We're learning and growing as people.
Yeah.
If you're employed in a particular role and you go, you know what, I don't want to work like this anymore.
Yeah.
You know, now's your time to reskill yourself. Online learning has gone through the roof.
Yeah.
You know, so there's so much to be grateful for. You've always wanted to cook for your family. Now's the time to do it, because you don't have to get home at 7 o'clock and go, oh shit, well, let's go out and get some dinner. You get to do that. You got time and to be able to relax and refocus. There's so much to be grateful for. You know,
Yeah.
you can. One of my cousins turned 60 recently, and it was so cool because her son did a video from everyone throughout the world. We've got family all over the world. Did little snippets of happy birthday from all over the world and put it on a video and shared it. You know, we've got about 160 or something in our WhatsApp group, in our family group.
Yeah.
More people are connecting, more people are communicating. So those are things that we've got to be grateful for.
Yeah.
And the most important thing you got to be grateful for, you're still alive.
Yeah.
Right? Every day above ground is a great day.
Dude, I love that. Big fan of that. Marshall, an act of service is also a love language. If this isn't your love language, what can you suggest people do to help and support others?
Right. Being there for a person, you know, like listening, talking, listening, encouraging. You know, I look at now's the time. My mom's been in lockdown, by the way, and she's been in lockdown for a year and a half. She's in a retirement village, and she's been in that community. She can't even leave her house in there. So my kids talk to her, I talk to her, and just being there for someone and listening to someone. You know, the best way to be there for someone is lift their spirits. Talk to them about what they're grateful about.
Yeah.
And listen to them when they talk back and say, you know, hey, you know, what are some of the things that you've always wanted to tell someone, but, you know, you just haven't done it.
Yeah.
If you can't do it on video, hey, just send them an email, send them a text. Now's the time to help your fellow man, you know, the people in your community, whether it's friends, family, to lift up their spirits. Because when you're lifting someone else's spirit, you automatically lift your own spirit.
Yeah, man.
You know,
when you help others, it's just it feels good.
Yeah, there's a great saying, and I love that saying, and my life has been about that saying. I read this book when I was about 16 by Zig Ziglar. It's called "See You at the Top" by Zig Ziglar, and he says in that book, if you help enough others get what they want, you will automatically get what you want. The prime example of that, brother, is how you always smile when you talk. You know, when you smile at others, they smile back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you show love, you get love back.
Dude, there's like right now, there's just so much to be grateful for. There's so much opportunity in the world to support others, and you're spot on. Like, now is the time for change. Today.
Absolutely. Right here, right now.
Today.
Right here, right now.
And the audience, you know, now's your time for change.
Absolutely.
Not tomorrow, not the next day. Now, what small changes can you make?
You know, at work, one of the things I get my guys, we have a daily huddle for the rhythm of our business. And I talk every day, they set one goal, you know, and it's a simple thing, because what I'm trying to get them to understand, and their subconscious to understand, is I'm a goal achieving machine. Whatever I said I can achieve. So for the last, God knows how many months, all their goal could be, you know, it's cute because they say, today my goal is to go out and get some sunshine. Or today my goal is to eat an apple, or today my goal is to drink 3 glasses of water. Stuff that you can achieve. And soon that whole negativity towards goals and achieving goals changes to, mate, I set a goal, I achieve it. I set a goal, I achieve it. I set a goal, I achieve it. You know, last night I was talking to my partner, and she was we were having a really cool, deep and meaningful conversation. And, you know, one of the things, observations that she made is, I like solving problems.
Love that.
You know, my brother apparently told her that if you want to get Marshall excited, give him a problem to solve and he'll solve it, you know?
Yeah.
So the same thing with goals. If your mindset and your belief system within yourself is, whatever goal I set, I will achieve. That's what we want in life. So small steps, you know, even through this whole COVID experience, set daily goals for yourself, get your kids to set daily goals, and could be as simple as eating half an apple or drinking a glass of water, run around the house, do 10 sit-ups, do 5 sit-ups, whatever it is, just small things, but small things that you can achieve and make success a habit.
I love that, man. Just on that, what are 3 tips that you would give someone right now to start improving their life in the current situation?
Tip number 1 is look at yourself in the mirror and say, I accept me. I accept my situation. I accept life as it is right now.
Yeah.
That in itself will reduce the stress on your shoulders. Okay. Step number 2 is go and express your love for someone else, your gratitude and love for someone else in the current situation. Man, it will absolutely set you free.
Yeah.
Yeah. And number 3, learn something new, but apply it every day.
Yeah.
You got these guys that read books, but don't apply anything. If you read a page, apply it, act on it, as you say, today, right here, right now. Those 3 things, if you can do as a daily habit, that will change your life.
Dude,
absolutely change your life.
Absolute gold, what you've just
Thanks, bro.
You said there, brother. Marshall, what does the future look like for you?
Right, marshallpeter.com is really starting to evolve into this online space, helping individuals, everybody from mom and dads to kids to entrepreneurs to, successful CEOs of companies, is helping them achieve what they want out of life. Yeah. And I've refined the science and refined it that it doesn't take years of work to do this. It's simple, sharp steps that we can do. People don't quite understand when I'm doing a session with them, but at the end of the day, they go, hey, hold on a sec, I feel different.
Yeah,
that's the power of what I do. So it's helping people achieve what they really want out of life. And my immediate goal right now, and what we want to achieve with marshallpeter.com, is just to help people get out of their lockedness or their being stuck with COVID. Mate, there's help out there. There's people like myself, and there's so many others out there that can help you. Reach out, change where you're at, get out of the situation and start living a good life. Yeah. Your environment doesn't determine who you are. You determine who you are. Right now, unfortunately, because of COVID, the environment is determining who we are. In a lot of people's case, we got to break free from that. I'd love to help anyone who'd want to break free from that. And it doesn't take hours and hours and hours. It doesn't have to, but we got to do it as a community. We got to break free from the mindset of being locked in.
Mate, absolute gold. Where can people find you, Marshall?
Mate, please message me on LinkedIn. That's the easiest and fastest way to do it. They can come through you. It's just a personal message and we'll get back to them. Dude,
this has been an absolutely amazing chat. We could speak for hours about this stuff.
Absolutely.
But I'd love to know from the audience, what's one action that you are going to take away from the conversation that Marshall and I have had today? Drop a comment, send us a message, let us know, because now is your time to shine. Now is your time to start living your life with purpose and helping others. Marshall Peter, double fist bumps, my man.
Thanks, brother. Well done.
Great chatting, and I'll speak to you soon.
All right, mate. Thank you. Take care. Bye.